Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome. We have some breaking news out of the state of Maine. Say hello real quick and get right into it. Jason J, what's up, buddy? For real, fiery red for real. Yep. Uh, I was looking at it and watching it develop, and I thought it was just another shooting, and it seems like it's more than that. So, what's up, Josh Chandler? Hell yeah, Neo. Welcome to the meat market, buddy. Thank you. Hey, Scat. I know. It always happens that way. That's why I never commit to not streaming because it's going to happen. So this is kind of where we're at right now. So there is a small town in Maine. And we're going to go into a little bit of the history of this area too. Where's my NBC one? There it is. So we're going to start over here at NBC, for the most accurate information in history. Well, it's happening currently, so we're all hearing it. So at least 22 people have been killed, Lewiston police source said, 50 to 60, and that's as much up to 80 at this point. 80 were wounded at several locations, including a local bowling alley. There was a Walmart distribution center, and there was also a third undisclosed location. Local media center said it was responding, or medical center said it was responding to a mass casualty event. There's actually 3 medical centers in the area that are responding. Officials have urged residents in Lewiston and Auburn to shelter in place. That's from the Maine State Police's Twitter account, X account, whatever the fuck it is. So they're telling people to shelter in place because they still don't have the shooter. The shooter from the videos, which I'm not going to show a shit ton of because some of them are pretty nasty. From the videos, it appears that this is highly coordinated and highly well put together. Also, it also appears that this individual has not done very well. Sorry, I'm just trying to read things too. Has not done. He doesn't look like he's ops or anything like that. Oh, the bar was the last one. Okay. So, like I said, it's breaking right now. But from Maine State Police, they say to shelter in place because this is not under control at this point, and we don't know what's going to happen next. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm trying to pull up Maine State Police's Twitter so we can get an update in. So here is Maine State Police. There's an active shooter in Lewiston. We ask people to shelter in place. Please stay inside your home with the doors locked. Law enforcement is currently investigating at multiple locations. If you see suspicious activity or individuals, please call 911. So this was their last update about, well, it's about 2 hours ago now. So, yeah, 2 hours. I don't see anything else. We'll save this video for just a moment. The gentleman's name is Robert Card. I don't know if this is the same Robert Card, but this is the image circulating that he is a sex offender and he's on the registry. So everything I've seen shows that it was potentially a terrorist attack. Because of the way it was coordinated and the mass amount of people shot. So this is the shooter. I don't know that it looks like the same guy. I mean, it's close, but you sure? Okay. I'm just, just gonna reserve for now. It could very well be the same guy. May not be. That's for you to decide. He holds his gun like shit. Like he doesn't look like a heavily trained operative. He's that's not how you hold a rifle, but Um, so it makes me think that maybe not. If you're in the Lewiston, Maine area, please stay inside, stay safe. If you happen to have seen this vehicle, this is the vehicle that the Lewiston, Maine Police Department have put out. It is white Subaru, black trim. This is allegedly the car he's driving. And yeah, so we'll watch this quick video. This is from one of the locations. Yeah, I saw that. I'm watching it. Your discretion always. He seems to be moving with impunity is my concern. It appears that he's moving very quickly and with damn near impunity through various areas of town. So let me pull up a map and we'll look at where Lewiston, Maine is. I don't know. I've never been to Maine. One of the very few cities or states I've never been to. So when they start with the gun narrative, he was a sex offender, allegedly, and he certainly should have owned a firearm. So this is the area we're looking at. This is Portland, Maine. So this is one of the bigger cities. You have Bangor up here. You have a lot of population that's down in this general vicinity because of its close proximity to Boston and others. And for those who don't know the United States, it is on the East Coast. So northeast, northeast. Damn. Okay. So just waiting on that press conference from Fox because that could be interesting. So we have the gentleman, Mr. Card, Robert Card. This is apparently some footage from outside.
Hey folks, I'm here in Lewiston.
So that's some personal reporting. Apparently, and this is not verified. Again, I don't know. He hasn't yet. So apparently he is a 20-year Army veteran. So from the 947th is the reports coming down. Again, I don't know. I don't know if that's the case, but just so you know, this is all very, very recent information. Very, very recent information. Can't confirm any of this yet. But this just happened about 2 hours ago, hour and a half. So, and breaking from raw alerts, 80 people have now been confirmed to be shot, with 22 confirmed dead. Numbers are likely to rise. A suspect is still at large. So, So Fox is saying that um, there's some specific people that were being targeted. Uh, sorry, I'm listening real quick. There's a concern that he might go back to the hospital to try and essentially finish some people off that were on his target list. But again, that's all conjecture. That's none of that is confirmed. Let's go over to Fox.
Per law enforcement source. Meantime, a Walmart spokesman says this incident did not occur on company property. Joe Pennington with Walmart said, quote, "This shooting did not occur on Walmart property." Now, Hal, we were told from some reporting, I believe from that same law enforcement source, that this first scene of the shooting there was this Walmart distribution center. And so Walmart spokespeople coming out saying that this did not happen on any of their company property there in Lewiston, Maine. And so,
I agree.
like I said, we're still waiting for a
22 as of
to
now.
take place
Yes.
there. We have this live picture.
So we'll go back to this. This is a little bit better image. So Robert William Card, 4/3/1984 from Waterville, Maine. He works at Dick's. I mean, that's a good place for a sex offender to work. He offense is possession of material of someone under 1-2. So that's what his charge was from the registry. So he's a felon. He cannot have a firearm legally. So the fact that he has firearms, don't let them trick you on a gun control bullshit. Trying to say. So I'm trying to. Yeah. Could have been. They did. They did. That's why I made fun of them for hiring people like our president. Yeah. 2013 white Subaru Outback. Obviously, with everything going on in that area across the seas, there's some thought that this could be there's a ton of information going around that it potentially is a person of Jewish persuasion. Just to report it, I'm not confirming or saying that's accurate at all, even remotely. I'm just saying that's one of the things floating heavily through the internet right now. So, just saw the cops driving down the road. It looks pretty rural. He could be anywhere. Exactly. Let's see. Go back to. So this is the bar, one of the locations that they were shot.
Remember, there are multiple locations. We just got a vantage point now outside one of those shooting locations. How you can't imagine what has just transpired there. But this is one of the scenes. What's happening there right now, do you think?
Well, if you're looking now, look at all the different vehicles there. You've got multiple law enforcement agencies, would be my guess. You've got you have a police command vehicle there, probably doing a lot of things, forensics and stuff. But that vehicle there may be set up as the incident command post. or bringing in what they need to set up the incident command post to coordinate what's going on. You may have FBI at that.
Oh, I understand, and that's why I said I'm not lending any credibility to it whatsoever. I'm just saying that there are
could have
a ton of people reporting that on the
ATF there, providing some
on the various outlets.
some
So
in-depth support dealing with the type of weapon.
obviously, I don't know. Make up your own mind.
Person has maybe providing some insight into how they were using that weapon. That
I believe so.
them more in terms of trying to figure out what type of threat situation they're dealing with. There can be a lot of different things that they're dealing with. Of course, the most important thing is
preliminary could change.
Which is
kind of trying to wait for the press conference.
Quickly, but they're trying to gather information as fast as they can. You know, they're dealing with eyewitnesses, they're dealing with CCTV cameras, they're dealing with potentially, in these cases, anymore, you'll have people that will pull out their phones and take pictures or video when these things start. So they're trying to gather all of this information to try and get a better idea of who this was, whether it was one person or more than one person.
U.S. Senator from Maine says Senator King is deep. Here.
Building a threat assessment, and of course.
Here, we'll pause that guy for a second. Senator King from U.S. Senator from Maine. Senator King is deeply saddened for the city of Lewiston and for all those worried about their family, friends, and neighbors. He's receiving regular updates, awaits further details from local authorities, and will be headed directly home to Maine once the Senate's final vote is held tomorrow afternoon. Given the shelter in place currently underway, he asked all the Androscoggin County to allow first responders to address this threat, stay indoors, and report any suspicious behavior to local authorities. That's Maine Senator, one of their two U.S. senators.
All activated now, and then working with the respective emergency operations center in Lewiston, going up to the state. And at this point, I wouldn't even be surprised if the National Operations Center, what's basically operating in Washington, D.C., it isn't tuned in very closely as to what's going on here to help coordinate things. One thing I'd mention is we were looking at the hospital. You saw a helicopter overhead. I couldn't tell what kind of helicopter it was, but I wouldn't be surprised if there isn't a separate, under the incident command system, if they haven't set up a separate aviation unit to marshal aviation. You've got a lot of people with traumatic gun injuries or traumatic, trauma victims, if you will. And that hospital has only got to be so big. And the hospitals in that area, it's a fairly rural area. These aren't big, that's not a big city per se. So they have just been overwhelmed with victims, gunshot wound victims who are in need of significant trauma care. So one of the first things they probably did was figure out how to get helicopters in there, stabilize them, get them out to another hospital that can provide the sort of care that they need. And that's part of what the
Section South
does, is it allows you to work these.
I'm waiting for the advertisement. Hang on.
Coordination issues, but also
and I'm just going to listen to the police scanner.
In terms of who they help first, and there's a lot of different issues they're having to work through. But I would expect that you're going to see a lot of helicopters this evening flying in and out of there.
Yeah, I mean, how can we focus on the suspect now? From all intents and purposes, we believe it's just one suspect at the moment. Obviously, that could change.
They're staying pretty solid on that they believe it's just one individual
not, the
still.
Suspect had help. But this suspect is not.
So that's interesting.
At the moment, we're about to show you new images of the suspect that were caught on surveillance camera. You see there, I'm going to take this full here. This is the one we've been showing you throughout the course of the evening. And of course, we were showing you as well the white Subaru Outback that you see here. I want to put this up because police want information on that. And so do you think maybe this, I don't want to speculate here, but did the suspect leave this vehicle? Is he on foot? Did he get into another vehicle? I mean, we just don't know all those questions at this point in time, but police put this out.
Okay, so we're going to go to So Biden was briefed on it, but this is what your commander in chief's doing right now. I'm listening to the scanner, and they're still looking for him. So I'm not seeing that they have him in custody at all. I'm listening to the police scanner radio from that county. I'm not seeing anything else there. So this is what your president's doing right now. So that's what your commander in chief's doing right now. Again, it's Mr. Robert William Card is the asshole that should burn in hell. I mean, be apprehended and go to jail for this. So we're still waiting on Fox to see if they have a press conference. If it is true that they do have him, hang on, I'm listening. So Fox News and the police scanner are saying there's another incident location off from 196, and he's still not apprehended, but they have him. They believe in a location at this point. He's still not in custody as of right now, accurately from, or at least semi-accurately, you would hope. Hey, what's up, Devel? And Vicky, hello? That was my thing. This guy looks very Asian. I don't know. I mean, the beard is close, but so this is a zoomed in grainy photo on Fox News currently.
This individual, and I don't want to speculate, but obviously white male with a beard, looks to be possibly late 30s or 40s,
buy it.
But he's holding this weapon. He's got a brown hoodie sweatshirt on.
I don't buy it.
So this is a new image we're showing everyone right now, and for all intents and purposes, he is still on the run. He is not in custody.
He is not in custody.
Out this horrible mass casualty incident there in the community of Lewiston, Maine. We've kind of mashed all these photos together so you can get a better sense and a better picture, because law enforcement officials there on the scene have told people stay in their homes, close your businesses.
He could have possibly went to Auburn, Maine.
Largest city. It's a little after 10:30 there on this Wednesday night. This
potentially is what we're getting.
Going to be the same. All right, I don't know if you can see though how we have these new pictures of this suspect. What do you make of it?
Okay, so I'm gonna hop in real quick. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland, as of 2 minutes ago, has been briefed in following developments in the shooting in Lewiston, Maine. A Justice Department spokesperson said the Attorney General has been briefed and continued to closely monitor the situation. Federal law enforcement agencies are assisting our state and local law enforcement partners in Lewiston, Maine. Now, my thought is if the Attorney General of the United States, and that makes this a federal issue, and that makes this a terrorist attack. Far left photo looks good. What's wrong with that gun? He's holding it like he's never shot a gun before. This was over your house. Damn. Police have said, so they know the identity. Range, bulletins, number of fatalities. Bates College, a liberal arts school in Lewiston, Maine, is locked down, according to Mary Poles. There have been no reports of gunshots. It's strictly a precaution. They have closed Lewiston public schools for tomorrow, at least, potentially longer. About 38,000 people live in Lewiston, Maine. So in 2020, just a couple of interesting facts. In 2020, there were only 20 homicides. 2021, there were 22. 2022, excuse me, there were 29, and there are 22 just tonight. So this is very uncommon for Maine. So the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Agency says that law enforcement is trying to eliminate the active killers. Very active and dynamic situation with the image of at least one of the killer been released by police. He's armed with a tactical rifle. Special agent from the ATF. Law enforcement is now attempting to locate, isolate, and eliminate the killers, he said. That's what's from a message from the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. So, I saw a picture earlier, and it looked as if there was a second individual, but I couldn't confirm that, and I can't find the fucking picture again. Being that it's multiple locations, that's really spreading out your police department. So you're having to fill in multiple different areas. So that's always a concern too, especially in a smaller town that's not going to have as many resources. That makes it incredibly difficult for limited law enforcement centers or limited resources to be able to make an impact on things like that. So. Looks like we have a podium, so I'm hoping that we get a presser here pretty soon. My government just quietly paid out a daughter of an MK Ultra unknowing subject. Damn. That's allegedly from the ATF. That's from a report released by the ATF on the update situation. Everything else is still saying killer. The ATF has sent a message from the Department of Justice, or in coordination with the Department of Justice, that said killers with an S. Trying to see if I can. Possibly. White House says President Biden has been briefed on shootings. The FBI urges the public to remain vigilant. FBI Boston continues to coordinate with local, state, and federal law enforcement partners in Maine, and we stand ready to assist with any available resources they need, including evidence response, investigative tactical support, as well as victim assistance. We continue to urge the public to remain vigilant and report any and all suspicious activity or individuals to law enforcement immediately. As this situation is very fluid, we will have no further comment at this time, and we will refer you to the State Police of Maine. Well, I'm not saying that, but they've already briefed Merrick Garland, the president, and the ATF within an hour and a half on a shooting in Maine. Y'all put together your own. I'm just fucking telling you what's out there. Of course, I don't make any conclusions. You know that. So here's a map, courtesy of Raw Alerts. Thanks, brother. So here's the bowling alley, spare time recreation. Here's the bar and grill. So it's literally across the town. Literally across the town. Nah, you're good, brother. So it's quite an area. And usually I can see the first, I can maybe see the second, but when you get into a third location and potentially a fourth, with that big of a police presence, or what you would think would be a big police presence, you'd be, I think you'd be concerned. So, we're still waiting. I'm not getting any additional updates at this time. Hopefully we get some here soon. Sorry, dead air. I'm looking and typing. Here, I'll let you listen to Fox.
The news, 2 other locations, a bar and a bowling alley in Lewiston. And so we unfortunately don't have that picture anymore outside of one of the locations, one of the shooting scene locations, that bar. If you're from the Lewiston area, you are familiar, no doubt, with this bar. I believe, I don't want to butcher the name here, Shemengi's is the name of the bar. But also the bowling alley as well. We know it's a bowling alley. We knew it was a bowling alley before it was even reported, because you can make out the
Yeah,
entrance
because most of your population center is down in that general vicinity. So, most of your law enforcement is going to be in that general area. Most of your people are going to be. So, Auburn mayor, we have everybody on board right now. The mayor of Auburn, Maine, tonight urged people in the city, Lewiston, and surrounding region to shelter in place and assured them that we will get this situation settled. We have everybody on board right now, from state, local, and federal officials, all working on this. Mayor Jason Levesque said on NBC News, now in a phone interview, the violence in Lewiston is completely unusual for Maine and the area. He said the 2 cities, Auburn with a population of around 26,000 and Lewiston around 35,000, are separated by a river, Levesque said. I can't go to the grocery store without running into someone who's complaining about a pothole, Levesque said. It may be insignificant at this point, but we're talking about the situation, but how close this community is. So, odd suddenly news has gone quiet. Yeah. I don't think we have anybody in Maine, but if we do, please let us know so we can help you if we can. If you are in Maine, please stay safe. Stay in your house, because it sounds like they are. Let's bring up ADSB. See what kind of planes we got over there. I don't know. It'll be classified as mill or. So we have shit all anywhere in Maine as far as military aircraft or federal aircraft. We have a Boeing, but he's over that way. So let's reset. Looks like so this is going to be our area, I believe. New England Life Flight, so that's not going to be associated there. I guess we're a little bit further north. New England Life Flight, so that could well be carrying passengers to where they going, Boston. It certainly could. They could be taking injureds to Boston. We have New Hampshire State Police who went over to help look. That is a Delta aircraft, another commercial. So we have one from the New Hampshire State Police. And that is it. We have 2 life flights that seem to be heading out of Lewiston, headed to Boston. Now that could be severe injuries going to a higher trauma center. Just speculation, I don't know, but certainly would fit the bill. As far as police or military traffic, there isn't much up. That's all I'm seeing right now are these 2 life flights, and there's 1 and 2, and 145 New England or NE Northeast maybe, and N142 NE. So, both Airbus, both life flights, and this is trauma. And Boston would have I don't know what. Don't know. There's Massachusetts General Hospital, Boston Children's Hospital. There is a level 1 trauma center, Tufts Medical Center trauma in Boston. So it seems like they have a couple different. Yeah, Boston Medical Center. They have a Boston Traumatic Institute surgery pending trauma cases. Experts in trauma treatment. That could be where they're going. That's Boston University Medical Campus or the Boston Medical Center. That's probably where I would think they were going. We could probably look in because it should be. Is there a hospital right here? Hangar. Because you would think that the hospital would have a heliport. Just from what I know. Maybe. Yeah, shit, I don't know. I'm not from Boston. Hangar. So if anybody knows what this area is in Boston, northwest Boston, Pine Hill. If you happen to know if there is anything up that way. It's not Logan, so it looks like it's a smaller airport. Lawrence Hanscom Field. So we'll go back to Fox. Angus King. We already read that one. Oh, that's the next one.
Support
An update.
Given the horrific nature of the events in Maine,
Well,
Senator King will now be headed to Maine on one of the first flights available. He wants to be home to support Lewiston in any way that he can there. So the independent Senator Angus King flying tonight back to Maine from Washington, D.C. These are his constituents.
Okay, so he's flying back tonight. He's not going to wait till the morning. So that
senator from Maine, the Republicans.
He originally said he was going to wait till tomorrow, but now he's flying back immediately.
From the White House, they just put this out. The president spoke by phone individually to Maine Governor Janet Mills, Senators Angus King and Susan Collins, and Congressman Jared Golden about the shooting in Lewiston, May, and offered full federal support in the wake of this horrific attack. So we are fast approaching the top of the hour. I still have Hal Kemper on the line here. Hal, we got to leave it at that. We can't appreciate or thank you enough.
Hangar as always to fly to the airport and get around transportation from there.
Okay. Experts to help us make sense of this tragedy, to go into the response And to go into the investigation, the manhunt now, the suspect's still not in custody hours after committing this mass casualty rampage there in Lewiston. Hal, thanks so much for being
I'll
with
let
us.
them
We really
catch up
appreciate it.
here, and then I'll update you with what I have
Andrew,
to.
horrible event, but let's just everybody there is in our hearts, is in our prayers, and we hope that they get this individual very soon. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Okay, back out live. We also have, like I said, this statement there from the White House. The president, I'll read it again, spoke by phone individually to Maine Governor Janet Mills, Senators Angus King and Susan Collins, and Congressman Jared Golden about the shooting in Lewiston, May, and offered full federal support in the wake of this horrific attack. And so we still just want to reset here. I'm Andrew Kraft. Thanks so much for being with us here on this very busy night. We were talking about a new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. We were talking about developments in the Israel-Hamas war. We were talking about and bringing you the news that one of the big three automakers, Ford, reached a tentative agreement with striking UAW workers. We were talking about Donald Trump in court today in his civil fraud.
Nobody gives a shit about Donald Trump or the fuck you, CNN, or Fox News. Same difference. So a woman outside the Central Maine Medical Center was among those waiting to find out what happened to their loved ones after a mass shooting in Lewiston. My ex-husband and son were playing pool at Schmegny's. The woman told ABC or NBC affiliate WSCH. She then learned about the shooting on social media, but has very little sense. She and others went to the hospital. We're all waiting, and we've heard nothing. So, yep. While the immediate reaction of the Biden to this and the lack of interest in Maui and inability to make it to Palestine, Ohio makes me think there's more to this than the normal just tragedy. Yeah, I'm starting to think the same thing. That's why I was saying I was looking at it, I was watching it develop, and I was like, unfortunately, it's shit. This is just another mass shooting. And then as there's more information coming out, this truly seemed like it was a little bit more impactful than that. So I thought it was important to bring it to you guys and see what you guys thought. So. So I'm going to go over to CNN. City Council, Maine City Council member. Oh, are we back to somebody that makes sense?
Not as a law enforcement officer, but as my role as a law enforcement commentator. And I was there as events were unfolding there as well. This is absolutely another tragic set of circumstances. The lack of information that we're getting is a little stymieing right now. It is a very, very dynamic situation, and I am anxiously awaiting the law enforcement press release that's about to come out. And hopefully we will get some more information. But
hey, what's up, Comer?
One thing we know that there's at least one shooter. When you're looking at a mass casualty event like this,
That's true.
There is always a possibility of more people being involved. Right now, it looks and appears that there is one shooter, and but the information is very sketchy. This has been going on for hours now. Clearly, this individual can be identified by someone because of the clarity of the photographs, and that's what law enforcement is looking at now to try and determine who this individual is and how to put a stop to him as soon as possible.
It appears that we have a third life flight leaving.
Like I said, awaiting these official statements and words from law enforcement. Of course, we got to rely on law enforcement. They're conducting the investigation, and you kind of just have to gird yourself for the news you're about to hear from them. The mass casualty figure, 22 dead in this. We have been reporting that at least 30 people have been injured.
Hey, Shane.
That number could grow. The number of fatalities could grow
Damn.
even further. And so to your point, this is still so fluid so many hours after it was first reported. That leads me to believe, law enforcement are frantically looking for
Yeah,
this
but they
guy,
normally don't release a public
combing his
statement
social
and interrupt
media,
the president while
talking
he's
to
hosting
people that
foreign
he
dignitaries
knows,
for
talking to people
a
that he
state
works
dinner.
with. We also have this live picture as well.
They notify
Outside
him.
of one of the main hospitals, the Central
Absolutely
Maine Medical
notify him.
Center. This is in Lewiston. And we've
Mine
been
is
seeing these
Fox
choppers
News
fly back
YouTube
and forth,
Live,
sir.
not the
And it
Fox
seems
News,
like
because
that's
Fox News
how they're
SO.
also looking for the
This one's at
suspect,
least
spotlighting
reasonably
on where
different.
they think he might be, whether he's in a car, whether he's on foot, right?
That's the thing.
Well,
is
they have identified a vehicle that he was apparently in. I don't know what the status of that is. Whether
there
they
seems
have
to be a lot
recovered that
more.
vehicle and he is only on foot, or if he is still mobile, and that's a big consideration. If he's still mobile and he's in that vehicle, then of course.
Hang on, I'm listening. FBI Boston field office is reporting to help with the investigation. Biden is awake. He's hosting the Australian presidents. He's hosting the Australian presidents for a state dinner at the White House. I showed the clip. He's very fancily dressed. So this is outside the medical center in Maine. I'm listening again. I'm listening to the multiple different police scanners because there was just another report of shots fired. No additional information given. Just now the ATF has made a post and will send agents to respond immediately. They're sending urgent agents to respond. He could dip to Canada, just across. I mean, the whole border, like to get from Michigan to Canada. I mean, shit, I could go over there without anybody ever knowing. And I know that. It's not very far. Damn. Yeah. I mean, they could be in Canada. They can't find the damn guy. No, just go up to fucking Harson's Island, Jason. Just swim across. I mean, hell, you can walk across. Hanscom has a large flying medicine community. Okay, so the county Kuski or whatever, they're calling for another medevac. So that would be 4. $66 medical aviation squad. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can go anywhere up the Detroit River and nobody will find you.
Okay, so just want to reset here. We have on the line with us Lieutenant Randy Sutton. He's a retired field lieutenant with the Las Vegas Police. And we are showing you a live picture there. You see that podium. We're awaiting a press conference. Sometimes these press conferences start right at the top of the hour. We're quickly approaching the top of the hour, almost 8 o'clock here on the West Coast, almost 11 o'clock there in Lewiston, Maine. You're also seeing
So
surveillance
for what it's
images
worth, the
of
New
that
Hampshire
suspect. And then in the upper
state
right hand of your
trooper
screen there,
bird
that is a
just
live picture
went off
outside one of
radar
these Maine
in Lisbon.
hospitals,
It looks like they,
where a majority of the injured have
it
been
appears that they
taken,
landed,
and a majority of
but
the
it went off
casualties
pretty quickly.
have been taken as well. And so we are getting more and more details because the suspect currently is on
And
run.
if it did, it just
Police
landed
are
right in the
trying
middle of the
to
road,
track him down in
nowhere
order to
near
take him into custody. We also have a live picture outside one
anything.
of the scenes of the shooting. I believe this is outside of the bar. There was a bar and a bowling alley, and so
And it's
hopefully
back
we'll
airborne.
get a better
So
sense.
this is what we got. So this is Lisbon, and it's obviously running routes. It thinks something's here. This is Lewiston to the northwest. So that would be accurate with what we've heard, that he was going southeast. Just for reference. Walmart. I know. It did. It completely cut off. Completely cut off. About when I started the stream. So yeah, but that's the routes it's running right now. Your buddy lives right there? I hope he's all right. Hope he's all right. If you can, reach out to him. Oh, did they say that? Probably. Huh. Okay. Look up Maine Information Analysis Center. He has a card. He's a pedo. We know that much. We also know that he looks to me to be Asian or some kind of
3 towns
go back
over
here.
by now. So that's why this is such a dynamic.
The reports are saying
situation.
white.
Without,
So.
in Uvalde, the suspect was contained. They knew where he was. The same thing in Las Vegas is he was in a particular room, with his array of arms, raining death down upon the crowd. This is a different situation. Now you have multiple shootings with a suspect who is still at large, and that's why this is even more dangerous, because the next death could be taking place anywhere. He could be 30, 40, 50 miles away from Lewiston now, and he could be ready to strike again.
Okay.
There are some other possibilities here that he may have already killed himself as well. That's a possibility.
Totally, that's a possibility.
We haven't got any indication of that whatsoever.
Here, sir, we are getting some more details about the suspect. Police are now officially naming the suspect. Before we get that up, we do have a statement in from the mayor of Lewiston, Maine. There, I want to put this up. This is what Mayor Carl Sheline just emailed us a statement, his office, saying Lewiston is currently under a shelter-in-place order, and it is critical to prioritize your safety and the safety of those.
Okay, so here's an interesting update. It was so apparently there was 2 individuals, and this looks more like the gentleman than the other. There were 2 individuals. One was former military, and one was a sex offender. Correct. So there were 2 gentlemen with the same name. According to law enforcement, Card recently reported mental health issues that include hearing voices and threats to shoot up the National Guard base in Saco, Maine. Sorry, fuck. The subject should be considered armed and dangerous. Caution should be used if contact is made with Card or the vehicle. So this looks more like the Robert Card. I don't know if that was the same. That's weird. Shit. I didn't save that other picture. See if I can find it. I had it. Where the hell did it go? Should have a longer face and bigger nose. Yeah. This is more accurate to what I thought, but Robert Card. Because the two don't look exact. They don't even look close to Bowdoin, Maine. Is where his Facebook says he's from. Sorry, I'm trying to look for that picture. If anybody has it handy, text it to me. Oh, never mind, I got it. So this is the other 4-3. So this Robert Card's birth date is 4/3/1984. This Robert's birthday is 4/4/1983. Huh. With the same name in the same town. That's odd. I mean, it could be, but I don't think Robert Card is a terribly normal name, is it? But this is the other Card. Card is a trained firearm instructor believed to be in the Army Reserve stationed out of Saco, Maine. According to law enforcement, Card reported mental health issues, including hearing voices and threats to shoot up National Guard base in Saco, Maine. Card also been reported to committed to mental health facility for 2 weeks during summer of 2023 and subsequently released. Card was last known to be operating a Maine registered 9246 PD 2013 white Subaru Outback with black bumper. That's the car we've been reported. And the subject should be considered armed and dangerous. Caution should be used if contact is made with Card or the vehicle. I don't know. Why was he not removed his licensure? So this is Mr. Card, 4/3/1984. And this is Mr. Card, 4/4/1983. That's just a stunning coincidence to me. You just move that 3 and 4 around, and you got the same birth date. A year and a day apart, and it's flipped, so it's 4/4/83 or 4/3/84. And so the image that Fox News is sharing is more accurate with that second one. The firearms instructor, they did pick the wrong card. Pick a card, any card, and they got the ace of spades instead of the ace of clubs. It happens. That's odd. I don't know who the hell you are. Yeah, but they're from the same city. Very close in birth date. Same exact name. And neither was overly hidden. I mean, it took the internet 20 minutes to find them both. So there's a Life Flight of Maine. So there's a Life Flight of Maine. There's another bird going. It looked into the Augusta area. So now we have 3 choppers and a aircraft. That's American. That's a Cessna. So this is the Beach Super King Life Flight of Maine LLC. It doesn't give us a destination, but it looks like it's heading that Augusta direction. Augusta being, I assume, a bigger city. I think it's the capital city, if I'm not incorrect. So this is current flight board. That was commercial. Apparently the choppers have landed. Oh, no, this was the third one. So this one looks like it's going to Boston as well. The other two have landed. So, and this, I believe, is this is the New Hampshire State Police. That's running routes right here, southeast of Lewiston. Yeah, he's a 22-year retired member of the United States military. Which, I mean, theoretically could explain everything else that's going on. It could explain the ATF, the FBI, the United States government response. So these are the two cards side by side. If that gentleman is a firearms instructor and that's the way he was, I don't like that. I don't like that at all, guys. I don't like that at all. From the police scanner, a man has heard loud banging coming from one of the trailers on the back of his property. Could be nothing, but just information.
At that.
We'll go back to Fox for a
We're gonna
minute.
leave these pictures up, and what we're looking at right now is this.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
Podium there. That
I'm
a
sure
press
he
conference
does.
is going to happen. We don't know when. We also have a live picture outside of the Maine Central Healthcare Facility there, the hospital where numerous of these injured individuals have been taken. And then, of course, this photo put out by law enforcement
They're
of the
talking
individual,
coded now,
who
so they
carried
think
all of
he
this
has
out.
a. They
This
think he
mass
has one
rampage
too,
in two
which
different
might not help them.
locations, there in Lewiston, Maine. And his name, Robert Card. He's 40 years old. To what Randy was discussing, police right now probably talking to his friends and family, poring over his social media accounts, learning on whether or not he's in the system already, whether he has a criminal history, whether he was known to law enforcement. And so we're going to stay with this story. Randy Sutton is going to stay on with us, hopefully until this press conference, if it starts soon. And then my colleague, Corella Hara, will take it up from here. I'm going to be signing off. Andrew Kraft here on Live Now from Fox.
5126.
We do just want to
So
take the
they
opportunity
are
to take a
they are
commercial
investigating
break,
the trailer
reset,
scenario.
as we continue to show you these pictures, provide you with the latest information up to date. Remember, the president has been briefed, Attorney General Merrick Garland has been briefed, and elected leaders have been briefed there on a horrible night in Lewiston, Maine. We'll see you in 2 minutes.
All right, so we're just waiting for the. Yeah. We're just waiting for them to have this press conference. Yes, he has special licenses related to his job. He's a firearms instructor, so he's going to have special licenses and endorsements related to his job. That's almost a guarantee. Doesn't look like it. Oh, our sponsor is London. Sorry, I'm trying to listen, guys. It appears that he got onto a boat, ladies and gentlemen. Potentially. This is where they found his white Subaru. Lisbon, which is 196, and Forest Hill. And I believe somebody pointed that out. However, yeah, they have at the Paper Mill Trail at / Miller Park, they have found the vehicle, allegedly, at a boat dock. So he probably hit the water. Well, let's look at ADSB and see if that's where they're looking. Lisbon and Frost Hill. See if we can find that. Frost Hill. Okay, so that's right where the plane is. So this is that New Hampshire state police plane. So this makes sure that, or this makes it think that maybe there might be some credibility to the statement. So allegedly they found right here. I don't know if you can see my mouse. Probably not. Now you can. Right here is where they found that boat, somewhere in this general vicinity, in this little kind of where the river crosses the road. So he could have went up this way, up the river. I don't know. I guess there's some big waterways. There's a state park up here, Androscoggin Riverlands State Park. So that's potential. He also could have went up the Maine River, and that's potential. But it looks like our plane is focused kind of on this smaller river. It seems like it's very well planned, very well planned. So I know nothing about elevation or dams or anything on this river. I believe that I saw one dam for sure on the river. Maybe it was this Mill Street Dam. But I remember seeing on one of the maps that there was indeed a dam. Not that you can't get around those. Sometimes you can. But he seems to know the area and be trained. So if he was going to try and get away, seems like it's possible that he could. especially if it's dark and he's operating with knowledge of the landscape, this could be incredibly fucking dangerous. This could be really bad. Mhm. We still have no idea what did this, and he hit these 3 places, and if there's more than one shooter. Correct. We don't know if there's more than one shooter. We don't know why these places were chosen. Um, apparently there was targets, and I have no idea how you know this, but apparently some of the targets were intentional. We don't know at what location, but there was some intention behind some of the targets, and there was some kind of connection between some of them, which led police to believe that he may return to the hospital, which I think is a stupid idea, and he doesn't seem like that's the way he wants to go with this. Lewiston is a college town? Okay. He's actually slightly south of it. He's in Lisbon right now. Could be. Well, that's what the reports say from the police department is that he was hearing voices and that kind of thing. So recently reported mental health issues to include hearing voices and threats to shoot up a National Guard base in Saco, Maine. Armed and dangerous. I never know anything. Right. They don't have a direction. We're just working off from where this aircraft has been. Um, so I can get rid of this. So this is where that aircraft is. This is apparently where he ditched his car. So allegedly he ditched his car right here on this corner. This little actually it was this little loop. So this is that park that we looked at on the other map. And this is allegedly where they found his vehicle. There's a boat dock right here, and we don't know which direction he went. Given that the New Hampshire State Police has been patrolling, they started wider, and they've frankly been patrolling right here, this kind of general area of the river. Gives me some kind of indication that he went northwest on the river, but again, we don't know that. Looks like a kind of search area and then went down. Um, there's also some obvious search patterns over here. As we can see, this would be my concern. There seems to be a big lake, and then you get into what appears to be state park and river parks. So, I mean, theoretically, if you got into this area, you could essentially hide for quite some time. It was Walmart, a bar, and a bowling alley, and I don't know in what that order. No schools were targeted. Elementary schools have been closed for the next at least day. There has been the local university has been shut down as a precaution, but no shots fired on the school reported as of now. That's also what I'm concerned with because we originally heard report from the senator that he was going to try and catch a plane back tomorrow because they had a historic vote coming. He then said, "Nope, I'm going to return home immediately," and caught an immediate flight. So something changed in the hour that he was briefed on the situation. Uh, and I don't know what that could have been. There we go. Here's that other picture. Sorry, I got a bunch of shit up. So here's that corner that we are just looking at. Here is that circle that we were looking at. and this is the boat ramp right here. So, this is a screen cap from Google Maps, not from me. It appears that this vehicle was parked in this general vicinity, this general area here, and they believe that he went onto the boat dock, and we can see that with everything else. So, damn. They've got visual confirmation and heard shots as he's been moving through, in different locations. So I would think that there's very little to no chance that he's one of the bodies. There is fuck, how many is that? Fourth. There's a fourth life flight helicopter leaving Lewiston, Maine. Just got in the air. So a fourth life flight. This is a Augusta AW 109 Grand. So that is a fourth life flight going to Boston from Lewiston. We also had a life flight aircraft leave Lewiston heading for Boston. So we have 4 choppers and 1 aircraft that have left Lewiston, Maine, and went to Boston, Massachusetts. Hey, no worries. Yeah. What river is this? That's a good question. Let me see. It appears that they are very interested in the Sabatus River. There's the dam. So there's the dam. There's a lower dam upstream. Not to say that's a major impactor on trying to get there, but Sabatus. Let's see what Fox News has to say.
They're in what's called the fatal funnel, and that's a term that law enforcement uses because it is a very accurate description of a doorway. Many officers have lost their lives or been severely injured in the line of duty while clearing buildings. I don't know if you're aware of this, but
yeah,
I run an organization called the Wounded Blue.
Sabatus.
And what we do is we work
Sabatus
with
River,
disabled officers,
I think,
from throughout the
I'm
nation.
terrible at pronunciation.
And I can tell you that
Bates
that
College
many of
is
officers that we deal with and have dealt with for years get injured.
That's the one that
while doing
the mayor of Lewiston has closed down, put on lockdown, and canceled classes. The Bates College in Lewiston.
But the individuals who are searching for him don't know. So they are
that's
in a very, very
that's what we're trying to figure out now. So there were 2 gentlemen with the same name and the last name Card. One was a pedo that was looked slightly Asian, and the other one is a white male that was a military member and now a firearms training expert.
You can see reporters there on the ground. So much media covering this. Let's get back to this other picture that we see here. A lot of law enforcement vehicles in another dark area. But Randy,
that was the indication. That was the indication that they were going to go back to try and eliminate some of the ones that were not successful the first go around. So apparently he had targets that he wanted to eliminate. How they know this, how this is common knowledge at this point in the investigation, I have no idea. But there was certainly a lot of clarity in the police statements that said they thought he was going to return to the hospital for some of the individuals that were not deceased to eliminate them. How the hell he knows that they didn't die? Fuck me, I don't know. Bates College is the college. I can look up it was from, let me see. because we covered it earlier. Active shooter Bates College is closed until further notice. Anyone still here, please shelter in place. That is from the mayor of whatever town. They do. He was known. He has a whole bunch of information out on him. Let me see if I can find that too. Sorry, I'm trying not to have 19 freaking tabs open because I get that way. So here is the Maine Information and Analysis Center. So apparently he was already on the radar for person of interest, trained firearms instructor believed to be in the Navy Reserve out of Saco. Reported mental health issues to include hearing voices and threats to shoot up the National Guard base. So this is the gentleman we're allegedly looking for. Not to be confused with Bates Motel. Exactly. Yeah, but I mean, oh, looks like we have a presser.
Get started going on this press conference. Let's listen in and see where we're at when it comes.
In your partnership as we work with all of our partners across the law enforcement spectrum at all levels, local,
sorry, that was
state,
totally my fault,
and federal, to address and investigate these violent crimes that occurred in the city of Lewiston this evening. As you know, this is an experienced group. We won't have a lot of Q&A here this evening. This still is very fresh. It's new. It's new for all of us. And our focus is on the investigation and getting this right the first time. And we're doing that with our partners. And we do appreciate you putting out information from time to time. Moving forward, we would appreciate it if you got that information from us so that we knew that it was accurate. And that is incredibly important for all of us from an investigative standpoint and from a public safety standpoint, that we have a unified front with this information as we release it. The delay in coming here with you now is simply because we want to confirm information from our end. We want to make sure the information we're giving you and the information that goes out to the general public is accurate. So we do have some information here that we will release. It is here on the podium. And this is a general caution to the public that approximately 6:56 this evening, a couple of shooting incidents occurred here with multiple casualties in the city of Lewiston. And police are currently searching for a Robert R. Card, 4/4 of 1983 of Bowdoin. Card is considered armed and dangerous. He is a person of interest, however, and that's what we'll label him at moving forward until that changes. If people see him, they should not approach Card or make contact with him in any way. The shelter-in-place order that currently stands in Lewiston remains. A vehicle, which was a vehicle of interest in this incident, was located in Lisbon, and we are now also asking residents in Lisbon to shelter in place. So please share that information with communities as well. If anybody sees Mr. Card or has any additional information reference to these two shootings in the city of Lewiston, please contact 911. If they see anything suspicious, please feel free to call their local authorities. We have literally hundreds of police officers working around the state of Maine to investigate this case, to locate Mr. Card, who again is a person of interest and a person of interest only. And we'll continue to gather information so that we can bring the suspect to justice and ultimately seek prosecution down the road. This release also includes a photo, which I believe I have seen from various sources. I would also let you know that we have created a reunification location, and that would be at the Auburn Middle School. So in the neighboring community of Auburn at 38 Falcon Drive. Again, that's the Auburn Middle School. And when I say reunification center or location, what that means is that if somebody has a question or they have a concern, they can't find a loved one, they believe that a friend or a family member may be involved in what occurred here tonight in Lewiston, that they could respond to that location. We will have some of our behavioral health liaisons, counselors on site, and we'll also be providing information as it becomes available to us. As you can imagine, and as you know, there are multiple scenes in the city, to include multiple hospitals, multiple follow-ups, a lot of witnesses we're speaking with, and a lot of leads. The general public has been very cooperative and very forthcoming with information. So I would expect if we have additional information, we'll be happy to come back and share it with you. I know that from the city of Lewiston standpoint, probably going to close City Hall after this briefing and probably move everybody out. But again, we appreciate your partnership and your patience. I would offer to take questions just so you know that I probably won't have answers. And as long as you know that going in, there's no disrespect intended in that. Feel free to ask a couple. And if I think we can get there, then I'm happy to answer those. If not, we do have work to do on behalf of our communities, and that's our primary focus this evening.
There are many specific figures about casualties are out there. The Sheriff Sampson told me up as many as 20. I just wanted to give you the opportunity to set the record straight on that.
Yeah, I do appreciate that. And I know that there's been a lot of numbers out there. This is a very fluid situation. So the last thing I want to come up is give you a number and then 3 hours from now, change that in one direction or another. So I don't have firm numbers on that. And when I do, we'll be happy to share those with you, because it's an important piece of healing and it's an important piece of information for all of us to be aware of. But I don't have a firm number on that.
But at least 16, right?
I think I just answered that question to say that I'm not going to give you any specific numbers. And there's been a lot of numbers all over the map all evening. And I don't think that that's helpful because it doesn't help family members. It certainly doesn't help the community to see, well, they just said this and they said that. So if you want accurate information, I'm prepared to give that to you when I have it. I don't have that right now.
Does the suspect have any known criminal history with law enforcement? Is he someone who's been on the radar of state police or local police, to your knowledge?
Well, Mr. Card, who we're speaking about right now, is a person of interest and a person of interest only, right? I'm not listing him as a suspect at this point, and we're not prepared to go into his background or anything else that we may be aware of. One more question?
You're only looking for one shooter, correct?
We're looking for this person of interest right now, and that's what we'll label and list and speak about at this particular moment. When we have additional information, I'm happy to share that. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Again, thank you for your time. And I know Assistant City Manager O'Malley will make arrangements, I think, to move everybody out of the building. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. These are the flyers that we were mentioning, so feel free to grab those. And we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you very much.
Well, not much new information there coming out of this latest update from Lewiston, Maine, regarding this mass shooting event that we have been covering for the last few hours. I do want to, I hope that still we have on the line retired Lieutenant Randy. Randy, are you still there and able to speak with us?
I'm still here.
Perfect. So, Randy, what do you think about this latest update? First of all, so many questions, and I think I want to start with one of the basics when they say that Card is a person of interest and not a suspect. What is the determining factor when deciding that?
Well, you know, these are almost interchangeable terms now. I think we heard a little political speak there, where the individual who was addressing everyone was kind of covering himself by saying that he was a person of interest, not a suspect. Like I said, it's a kind of an obtuse term. We didn't learn much from that at all. The one thing I did glean from that was that the vehicle was found, and when I hear that word "found," that means to me that he's no longer operating that vehicle, and that's a little gem of information, because that means that he either acquired another vehicle, which is very possible, or
I'm here.
he's
Sorry,
out on
I had to
foot.
get some water.
And that would, of course, limit the search range demonstrably. So there wasn't a whole lot of information that was given at that press conference.
Right now, what we're taking a look at is a live shot from outside of that medical center, the hospital, with a lot of the victims we're taking. More of a stagnant shot right now. We did see a lot of activity earlier in the day, a lot of officers moving through with a lot of gear, some guns being drawn. I want to talk about kind of how overwhelming this may be for investigators at this moment. So, like you mentioned, not a lot of updates given, and that's just because there's so many different points to comb through, so many witnesses to talk to. Tell me about this process now, because it is such a timely manner to find this person. How do you really narrow it down when there's so many witnesses, so many victims?
Well, that's the challenge here. You have multiple scenes.
Appreciate it.
You have multiple locations where the individual has been spotted.
I heard that too.
The vehicle was found apparently in a different town. So the question that I have is that did he leave that vehicle there and then commit this atrocity from some other mode of transportation?
Essentially, is it a bait car?
Did he utilize the vehicle that was found at the where the murders took place, and then he dumped the car there? There's like I said, there's so many questions. But
was he set up by a massive false flag from the U.S. government?
There's no more complicated an investigation than a mass shooting.
I don't believe that at all.
You have multiple crime scenes. Every single one of these crime scenes, it has to be processed, and this isn't going to take hours. This is going to take days, possibly weeks. And this is one of the things that with the cooperation of different law enforcement agencies is so critical. The Federal Bureau of Investigation has one of the best crime scene analytical units in the country, and utilizing them will be really something that will help local law enforcement immeasurably, because local law enforcement simply is not equipped to deal with a massive array of crime scenes like this is.
Shit, I missed it.
So you've got multiple crime scenes. You've got just incredible amounts of evidence that have to be safeguarded. Remember, if they do take him into custody, as opposed to if he dies by his own hand, or he dies in a gunfight with law enforcement, if this winds up to be a prosecution, then the meticulous work that has to be done at each of these scenes is incredibly important. So this is a massive challenge to law enforcement, and of course there has to be command and control. Someone is running this scene. Usually it would be the jurisdiction that was the primary jurisdiction. So it could be the sheriff's office, it could be the police department. The state police may have come in and said, we're going to take over. But the command and control of a massive scene like this is critical to the to get to the culmination that everybody wants, which is keeping the people safe and getting the suspect either in custody or killing him.
Lieutenant, let's get back to talking about the suspect a bit more, because earlier you were saying so many determining factors in where this investigation may go are really coming from who the suspect is and this end game of his, so to speak. Let's pull up this photo of him, 40-year-old Robert Card. So the latest information, I told you that he was a trained firearms instructor, believed to be in the Army Reserve. Well, also, while he was stationed, he reported, quote, hearing voices and threatened to shoot up the National Guard base where he was stationed. That is according to the sources. Again, what do you make of these new developments regarding this person of interest?
Well, that just added a really critical nuance to this situation. That means if he's been hearing voices, that's very often associated with schizophrenia. Schizophrenia, of course, is a major mental health issue. Many individuals who have been involved in mass murders have claimed to be hearing voices. Excuse me. now you add the mental health component, and you have an individual who is not thinking rationally. Is now you have, with a criminal that has an end game in mind. Then there are avenues to try and realize what that is and try to combat it. Now you add an individual who's hearing voices and has threatened to shoot up, a place where he worked, that he was part of. Now you have a madman involved, and of course, once again, the price of poker has gone up again. So, I'm really interested in knowing about his training, about his equipment, what he is. Does he have experience in?
So there's some interesting things going on that we've noticed, and I just got confirmation from on radio, because I'm listening to multiple different feeds. I'm listening to all the major news stations. I'm listening to the different feeds of the actual radios and stuff coming in. It appears that our suspect, Mr. Card, is communicating with an individual, and I won't even say his name because then it will fucking just make everybody go nuts. But seems to be communicating multiple times, different locations, and different technical information through the radio system of the police department. I have no idea what it means. I have no reporting of it anywhere. It's just certainly something that I've noticed. So the suspect seems to be communicating in some way with a gentleman, and the gentleman doesn't seem to be, he didn't have the decorum of a police officer. Let's say that.
Where he was institutionalized, now back on the loose. What kind of protocol is this even to follow up, let's say,
exactly,
with somebody that was in the Army Reserve?
Multiple different.
Who's watching out for this individual? I know we talk a lot about the aftermath of these tragic events, but prevention.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep. Is it not?
Yeah, absolutely. And my question is
I'm starting to think more and more something else is going on.
Or was he with the reserves and is no longer? Here's the part about possessing firearms. The laws state that if you have been committed, for a mental issue into a facility, and you've been committed, well, you're not supposed to be possessing a firearm. And so now the question is, what was
some, probably quite a few guys
following his release?
Yep.
From the institution, whatever institution.
What is the new House Speaker from? What state is the new House Speaker from? The new House Speaker is from Louisiana, sir. Louisiana.
But right now,
hey, Comer.
The critical issue is this.
I'm not going to say the name because I don't have any confirmation on it. Just what's heard over the radio. So, Mike Johnson is from Louisiana. Yep.
By law enforcement, or if it's taking him into custody. But
it's not voices in my head. I mean, I have voices in my head, but I answer them. So that's the difference.
But while they are doing that, as he is still at large, he is still a threat.
There's a lot of inconsistencies, and that press conference didn't put anything to rest for me. I don't know about you guys.
Is a target. And
let's cut that off. Staff who's in Florida. Hey, what's up, HT? Is a public person. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? I know. It's mind-blowing, isn't it? But yeah, these are specifically from the radio. Something doesn't feel right here. We have a Delta aircraft. We have nothing of the area now. I don't see a TFR or anything like that, but I do see a lack of aircraft over. Not to say that that's anything spectacular, but
multiple people killed in a mass shooting at two separate locations. We really appreciate your insight. We hope to check in with you soon. For now, we will let you go. We're going to continue covering this, however, for our viewers. But again, Randy Sutton, retired field lieutenant, thank you for taking the time to be with us.
Well, I appreciate that. And if any law enforcement officers who are at that scene, this is a very, very stressful situation. And I offer the services of the Wounded Blue. So if you're a law enforcement officer and you're on that scene,
he is wrapped around that. He's wrapped around that. That is not a gun instructor. He is not a gun instructor. I don't know what I'm saying, honestly. I'm trying to not go too far with anything. I'm just saying that there's communications between him and another individual on the police radio that is not law enforcement. So there's the suspect and another individual that are communicating on police bands, on police radio. And there has been multiple different things going on to support that. So so we have nothing on Fox News right now. Let's see. I'm trying to look for any updates at all. There is nothing. There's nothing coming on to update this at this time. Breaking law enforcement press conference. Pulling out a target. I'm just looking for anything, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so here's a good update. We were talking about, we thought for sure that there was, we thought for sure that it was in Lisbon. Here is a vehicle of interest located in town of Lisbon, says the public safety official. So where we were looking and where we saw the chopper looking, and we're getting the information that he could possibly be. That's been confirmed. So, armed and dangerous. So we're not getting anything there. Biden spoke with Maine governor and lawmakers about the Lewiston shootings. President Joe Biden spoke by phone with a number of Maine lawmakers in the wake of mass shootings in Lewiston, Maine, the White House press conference told the Pool on Wednesday. The president spoke by phone individually to Maine Governor Janet Mills, Senators Angus King and Susan Collins, and Congressman Gerald Golden about the shooting in Lewiston, Maine, and ordered full federal support in the wake of this horrific attack, the White House said in a statement.
Mr. Card, or has any additional information
same
reference
thing
to
again?
these two shootings in the city of Lewiston?
I don't know if that's the same thing repeated.
I do want to get right into that presser from law enforcement earlier today, providing
Yeah,
that
okay,
update.
so this
Not
is
a
the
lot
same
was said,
press
but
conference
we
we heard
do
earlier, but we
want
might as well
to
listen to it
showcase
again.
for anyone that missed it, possibly here. And then afterwards, we will bring on more experts to dissect the situation and speak more about where this investigation is heading.
We have a shit ton of aircraft on the ground in Montreal. So that's odd. There's a shit ton on the ground in Montreal.
We truly do appreciate your patience and your partnership as we work with all of our partners across the law enforcement spectrum at all levels, local, state, county, and federal, to address and investigate these violent crimes that occurred in the city of Lewiston this evening. As you know, this is an experienced group. We won't have a lot of Q&A here this evening. This still is very fresh. It's new. It's new for all of us. And our focus is on the investigation and getting this
Robert
right first time.
I can't confirm that those are military. I just think it's odd that there's so many on the ground up there.
Moving forward, we would appreciate it if you got that information from us so that we knew that it was accurate. And that is incredibly important for all of us from an investigative standpoint and from a public safety standpoint, that we have a unified front with this information as we release it.
This time.
The delay in coming here with you now is simply because we want to confirm information from our end. We want to make sure the information we're giving you and the information that goes out to the general public is accurate. So we do have some information here that we will release. It is here on the podium. And this is a general caution to the public that approximately 6:56 this evening, a couple of shooting incidents occurred here with multiple casualties in the city of Lewiston. And police are currently searching for a Robert R. Card, 4/4 of 1983 of Bowdoin. Card is considered armed and dangerous. He is a person of interest, however, and that's what we'll label him at moving forward until that changes. If people see him, they should not approach Card or make contact with him in any way. The shelter-in-place order that currently stands in Lewiston remains. A vehicle, which was a vehicle of interest in this incident, was located in Lisbon, and we are now also asking residents in Lisbon to shelter in place. So please share that information with communities as well. If anybody sees Mr. Card or has any additional information reference to these two shootings in the city of Lewiston, please contact 911 If they see anything suspicious, please feel free to call their local authorities. We have literally hundreds of police officers working around the state of Maine to investigate this case, to locate Mr. Card, who again is a person of interest and a person of interest only. And we'll continue to gather information so that we can bring the suspect to justice and ultimately see prosecution down the road. This release also includes a photo, which I believe
that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's odd that there's that much. We're not getting any. We're not getting any information from Montreal, but we're getting
that would be at the
there's a lot of planes on the ground up there.
So in the neighboring community of Auburn at 38 Falcon Drive. Again, that's the Auburn Middle School. And when I say reunification center or location, what that means is that if somebody has a question or they have a concern, they can't find a loved one.
We have our fifth
a friend or a family member may be involved in what occurred here today.
We'll pause that. We have our fifth light flight out of Lewiston. This one again heading north to Augusta. Fifth light flight helicopter to go with at least one. To go with at least one aircraft that flew out of Lewiston. We also have an FBI chopper up over Lisbon now. So here's that other chopper, that other life flight. Here is an FBI bird over Lisbon. So the FBI is engaged.
Tonight in Lewiston, that they could respond to that location. We will have some of our behavioral health counselors on site.
And we'll also be providing 196 was his car
as it becomes available to us. As you can imagine, and as you know, there are multiple scenes in the city to include multiple hospitals, multiple follow-ups, a lot of witnesses we're speaking with, and a lot of leads. The general public has been very cooperative and very forthcoming with information.
That is number 5 that I've seen on the board. Or on
if we have additional information, we'll be happy to come back and share it with you. I know that from the city of Lewiston standpoint, probably going to close City Hall after this briefing and probably move everybody out. But again, we appreciate your partnership and your patience. I would offer to take questions just so you know that I probably won't have answers. And as long as...
Hang on. Hang the fuck on. There's a fucking ground stop in Boston. Look at all those fucking aircraft on the ground in Boston. That's a ground stop in Boston. Why? So that's Montreal and Boston. Look at how many fucking planes there are there. That's not average. That's not a normal thing. Just another data point. I mean, there's still some aircraft up, obviously, and a bunch over the drink, but that's fucking weird to have 2 major airports in the area. And that just happened. So, just happened. But we'll go back over here.
As long as you know that going in, there's no disrespect intended in that. Feel free to ask a couple. And if I think we can get there, then I'm happy to answer those. If not, we do have work to do on behalf of our communities. And that's our primary focus this evening.
There are many specific figures about casualties out there. The Sheriff Sampson told me up as many as 20. I just wanted to give you the opportunity to set the record straight on that.
Yeah, I do appreciate that. And I know that there's been a lot of numbers out there. This is a very fluid situation. So the last thing I want to come up is give you a number and then 3 hours from now, change that in one direction or another. So I don't have firm numbers on that. And when I do, we'll be happy to share those with you because it's an important piece of healing and it's an important piece of information for all of us to be aware of. But I don't have a firm number on that.
But at least 16.
I think I just answered that question to say that I'm not going to give you any specific numbers. And there's been a lot of numbers all over the map all evening. And I don't think that that's helpful because it doesn't help family members. It certainly doesn't help the community to see, well, they just said this and they said that. So if you want accurate information, I'm prepared to give that to you when I have it. I don't have that right now.
Does the suspect have any known criminal history with law enforcement? Is he someone who's been on the radar of state police or local police to your knowledge?
Well, Mr. Card, who we're speaking about right now, is a person of interest and a person of interest only, right? I'm not listing him as a suspect at this point, and we're not prepared to go into his background or anything else that we may be aware of. One more question?
You know, look for one shooter, correct?
We're looking for this person of interest right now, and that's what we'll label and list and speak about at this particular moment. When we have additional information, I'm happy to share that. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Again, thank you for your time. And I know Assistant City Manager O'Malley will make arrangements, I think, to move everybody out of the building. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All
If
right,
that's
so
the
those are
case,
really all
then
the
that
comments that
that
were
could
made
be,
to
but
this
I don't
update
know why
from
they're
law
coming up on the
enforcement.
board like that. You shouldn't. I've never
Not very
seen
many
that, and we
details
can
given,
go
and if anything, more
across the country.
questions being asked from so
There's
many people, especially those
all of them are
down there in
here,
the area. I want to
but
bring on now
that's not
to our
normal.
programming Hal
That's not a
Spencer.
normal
Hal,
thing.
we had you on earlier today before we knew the latest regarding the suspect pictured here on the screen, 40-year-old Robert Card. So let's kind of dissect the situation that law enforcement is in right now, given his background.
So I don't know. It's just a weird data point. So
from what we've seen, he's Army Reserve. He's a veteran. He's still in the Army Reserve as far as we know. They hadn't said he's been discharged. There was indicators that he may have some mental health problems. That was not explained what it was. But he comes from a command in Saco, Maine, and that command has a few different units in it. One's a transportation unit. They also have a unit that's basically an MP type unit, but they have a training unit in there, and most states do have these training units. And it said he's a firearms instructor. From that, when we saw him, the pictures of him, it looked like he knew how to hold a weapon. He was dressed tactically. He had what appeared to be magazines in cargo pants with cargo pockets, I should say, which is they weren't military. He wasn't wearing camouflage, but it just had the look of somebody who understood the military, the look of somebody who understood camouflage concepts, and also the way he was holding himself, his foot. When you looked at how he was placing his feet, the way he was holding the weapon, the way he was looking in the room, looking down the weapon, it just kind of had a paramilitary feel or military feel to it. And now it turns out that he is a veteran. And what's a major concern is they're probably looking very hard to see what type of training. He was a firearms instructor by the reports, but what type of training was he doing? Was he doing certain types of tactical training? They're probably going to go back. There is an infantry unit in the reserves up in Maine, and so he may have been. He may have infantry experience. He may have gone to a variety of special schools where he has a lot of training in things like military operations and urban warfare or urban terrain, dealing with buildings and stuff. Obviously, all the stuff.
I know, and the victims are getting lost in this because we're not getting information out of the state.
How to avoid detection, how to move.
They're pulling everything from
clandestinely, if you will, through the
police scanners that I'm listening to.
So there's
I'm not
a lot
getting
of
much information
that law enforcement has in trying to track this individual down.
I haven't got any updates at all.
And he is armed
at all
and dangerous.
on CNN,
And
NBC.
something they must be telling every
Nothing.
officer out there, every
press
sworn
conference.
officer that is actively tracking him down, is to be
27
very,
minutes.
very vigilant, prepared, and cautious, because he may be mentally unstable, but his tactical skills may be completely intact. And in that regard, he may in many ways be better trained for an armed encounter than the officers who are pursuing him. And that, of course, is a huge concern. It's happened over the years. There have been active shootings. I can think of one in Northern California some years back where a Marine who was tied to a gang and was using drugs basically set up
that could be
an ambush for two officers.
It's a semantic bullshit. It's probably part woke. Probably part woke. Why we're not getting an actual suspect. But a gun instructor, right? There's a lot of things that are inconsistent with this. Yeah, they wouldn't confirm victims. They wouldn't confirm fatalities. Nothing.
That's a big question. And, it could be that they followed all the steps, and it could very well turn out, and we probably won't know till tomorrow or so, that they had
All the police
done
scanners
something
that I
like
was
they're in the
previously
process
listening
of
to are
discharging
offline at this point as well.
for cause out of the military because of his mental health issues, because he had said something where they felt he posed a threat. There could be a variety of reasons why. That doesn't mean he forgot everything he learned. It doesn't
So
mean
it
he
seems they've
forgot how to
reduced
use a
it from
weapon
3 to
or
2.
any of the tactical training. He could be still very proficient in all that. But that could have been a triggering point. We don't know. That is pure speculation as to what the cause is. One of the challenges with violent extremists, and whether it's a very localized small motivation, like they're mad at a particular business or a particular employer or something like that, or if it's something where they're mad at all corporations, or they're mad at the government, or you have Salafist jihadist stuff where they're motivated by ISIS, Al Qaeda, or something like that. Whatever it is, in many of those instances, they have had a brush with law enforcement or mental health, and they are in the system. And that is one of the things that we've talked over the years. I'd say everyone working in this arena has talked over the years. Is we've got to do a better job, respecting civil rights, constitutional rights, privacy rights, but we've got to do a better job of keeping tabs on these individuals and also intervening proactively. If you recall the terrorist in, I think it was 2020, that blew himself up in Nashville, his motivation was really off. I mean, he believed that the world was being taken over by space alien reptilian cultures. I'm going to say that's a little bit extreme and odd, but based on that belief, he went out there in an RV filled with explosives and blew himself up downtown in Nashville, and basically took I believe it was an AT&T facility offline for quite some time. But he had encounters with law enforcement in the past, and he was in the system. Same thing out here. I'm in Southern California. We had some years back, there was a shooting at the Borderline Club and Grill. And there was a former Marine non-commissioned officer, Long, that his name was Long, that was trying to go to college, not apparently having some problems, and had some very strong encounters with students who were disparaging his military experience, disparaging the military. He was a Marine, and he somehow developed some very extreme beliefs about students, and he'd been called in. They had apparently done a well check on him, and there was no follow up. And then he went and shot up the Borderline Club and Grill. Time and time again, we have these individuals that are in the system. There have been encounters, but how do we keep tabs on them? How do we prevent them from doing something extremely violent? And that's something that I think across the board, Department of Homeland Security, everybody's got to look at. How can we protect their civil rights, constitutional rights, privacy rights? At the same time, we recognize that they may pose some sort of threat, and we need to keep better tabs on them to make sure that they're not crossing that line or going down that pathway to violence.
So, Hal, I have a tweet right now posted up by some of the news outlets that are there on the ground earlier today, and I'll bring this video up in just a moment. But we saw police outside of the medical center where a lot of the victims were taken, some of the deceased, unfortunately, after this mass shooting incident. Here, this tweet, it says, "We're assuming at this point that this was a false alarm, as the officers have since come back and resumed their positions around the hospital." I don't know if you were watching our coverage earlier today, and if you maybe saw what I'm talking about here, when we saw all these officers with their guns drawn near a hospital. Tell me about that approach that they took at this moment.
It was a very tactical approach. I actually was watching it, and I looked at how the officers were positioning themselves, how they're carrying their weapons. They had whatever they had gotten. It's clear they were expecting an active threat, and they were going in there into a very tactical movement, if you will, to find this individual. And they obviously thought he was in the area, and that is not a bad presumption in general. Whatever his motivation is, it could have been that he was mad at an individual or individuals at the locations
All right.
where he
So
did
here's
shooting,
what I'm
the
gonna do.
shootings. And he may have been
I
under the
think
impression that
that we're
he
not
didn't,
gonna get
quote, finish
fuck
the
all
job,
for the rest
unquote.
of
I mean,
this
it's a
evening.
horrible thing, but
I'm
that he didn't
tired.
actually kill
I
them,
have
that
an
he
early morning.
simply injured them. And
So
it
unfortunately, I'm
happens
not
on
going to be able to
occasion.
follow it much
It's not
longer.
common, but it happens.
I think we
that
got some
sometimes,
information, and I
shooters
think we
will
got
actually
some
follow the victims to a
some
hospital
things that we can
to go in and finish the job. We
certainly
more often see that
look
in
into a
some
little bit more.
organizations like with gangs and
I'm
stuff.
concerned
And that's
with the
one of
lack
the
of
reasons we see
information
so
and the
much
lack of
security at
transparency that we're
hospitals
getting out of
today,
this.
is because they do have problems with people coming to the hospitals.
I really do
that
appreciate everybody hanging out with me, and we obviously pray for the victims, and they're our first priority and concern. Our second priority concern is to get all the information that we can, so we can A, be more informed when shit like this happens, B, we can stop this from happening next time. I think this is incredibly odd that we're getting no information whatsoever. No information whatsoever. Normally a press conference has very limited information. And there's multiple dead in a mass shooting in the area of Maine. Hang on. Before we go, these police officers got really excited and drew weapons and ran the corner.
where they can't really say clearly. So in their mind's
Sorry, just as I
eye,
was
they
getting
may
ready
see
to sign
somebody
off,
in the
I
distance,
looked
and they're
over.
putting them in a brown sweatshirt and in blue pants or something like that. They can't really see, but they're kind of filling in the image that they think it is, and that can get reported. But law enforcement in this situation has no other course of action. They have to go in and take a look. They have to see if he could possibly be there. It is a possible follow-on venue or location that he might use for an attack. So that was very prudent on their part. They didn't see him. I would hope that they're staying vigilant throughout the night. Doesn't mean that he wasn't there. In fact, it's not uncommon that in these situations, particularly someone with the amount of training and background that this individual has, that he might have been there to do some sort of reconnaissance to see what the security
Now the bird's
posture
going
of
to
the
try and
hospital is, whether or not he could actually get in there to do some sort of,
yeah, but that doesn't make sense. He
mayhem,
wouldn't know that
homicide,
they're not
whatever his
dead.
plans are.
That's odd.
And so somebody may have seen him, and he may have just disappeared.
Could
He
be.
may have seen them coming to look for him.
Comer,
and he
I have no
simply
idea why,
disappeared.
but the word is that he's going to come back to the
With
hospital
his
to finish the
skills,
job
I'm sure
on
he could,
several of the suspects that were
particularly if he found a
targets.
forest or something
That's
nearby
what
or a
they're
park,
concerned with, and
he
that's
could
what they're
probably,
almost certain of
hide himself
from the
and
ground.
disappear fairly effectively.
Why?
based
I
on
have
what-
no idea.
what it appears
Where
that
you
we've
get that
seen
kind of
of,
information,
his
I have
training and
no
background.
idea.
I want to talk a little bit more
But
about
that is
the
the-
parking of entrance next move.
That is
how he
what's
may
going on
be
right
able
now.
to get away at this
So
moment.
they
Tell us
believe
about
he's going to
law
return to the
enforcement that you're
hospital
working with
where
here.
the patients are being treated and continue to eliminate suspects. So that hospital is on lockdown. That's a really good question. We haven't got any indication of why that would be credible, even remotely. So there may have been some posts, there may have been some manifestos. We've heard of those. There may have been all kinds of stuff like that. But it looks like we're having an increased response. Where that falls apart is, like we said, they have not given any information to the families. The families are, as was reported earlier, are outside waiting for information and have been told nothing about their loved ones or their whereabouts. So for him to know and no one else to know, that's also an odd coincidence. But photo of the shooter, different hairline, spot shape, facial features different too. Body proportion doesn't even match the head type. Yeah, I'm not sold on anything, but he's not even a suspect if they if you heard the press conference, he's just a person of interest. So bullshit. If you killed damn near 23, 22 people, you're a suspect. If they have a armed and dangerous bolo on you and that you can use deadly force, you're a fucking suspect. Sorry. So yeah, that's gonna be it from me, ladies and gentlemen. If you're in the area, stay safe. Yeah, that's the word around town. You were on the internet. That's normally a bad thing. But all right, y'all. I am going to, for real, get off of here. If you're in the area, please stay safe. Please pray for the families. What we do know is that multiple people lost their lives this evening, and it was unjustified and unnecessary. And I'm always 100% in support of caring about the families and the innocent people in this situation. So, I hope everybody has a great night. Please stay safe. And I will talk to you guys later. Have a good night.